4 new off-road tires just ran you close to $800 at Walmart, and there's one service missing from that receipt your lifted truck genuinely cannot survive without. Walmart's auto care centers stopped doing wheel alignments years ago and never brought the service back. That gap is the real reason so many lift builds start eating brand new tires within weeks of the install, and nobody at the counter mentions it while they're ringing you up, because half of them don't know why it matters either. So here's what that gap actually costs you: the tire you think you're driving out with, and the one that's actually on your truck. The fitment problem that only shows up once you're already home. What happens to a return the second your tires touch pavement? And halfway through, I'm handing you the one move that saves you more than the tires cost you in the first place. That single tip carries this whole video, so don't tap away before you get there. Let's start with the part that explains everything else. Multiple auto service guides confirm Walmart quietly dropped alignment from its service menu at almost every location, reportedly because the equipment runs into the tens of thousands of dollars per bay, and the liability isn't worth it to them for a service that's a small fraction of their tire volume. That means the moment you lift a truck and bolt on aggressive tires, the single service your build needs most, the one thing standing between your new tires and them wearing themselves into scrap, is something that store is physically unable to sell you. Not won't, can't. Keep that in your head for the rest of this video, because every point traces back to it. Number 1. What you see listed online isn't always what's sitting on the shelf. Walmart isn't selling you knockoffs. To be clear, and I want to be fair here, the real BF Goodrich All-Terrain KO2 is there. So is the Goodyear Wrangler DuraTrack. Same tires the specialty shops carry, same tread, same sidewall construction. The catch is stock, not quality. Walmart's own tire page advertises access to a catalog of over 10,000 tires in every size, which sounds like everything you'd ever need is one click away. What that line doesn't tell you is that the catalog describes the whole national network, not the 4 shelves at your specific store. Aggressive off-road sizes, your 35s and 37s, don't move through a general retailer the way a standard passenger tire does. So a size marked available online can mean available somewhere in that network, not physically at your store today. Multiple owners in truck forums describe the exact same story. The size that showed in stock the night before wasn't actually on the shelf when they got there, and the counter had to order it in. Call ahead and get a real person to confirm your exact size is physically on site before you plan your day around picking it up. Hang on to that thought, because the fix for this exact problem is coming later in the video. Number 2. This is the one quietly draining your wallet without a single person telling you, and it's the alignment gap from the top of this video. A lift changes every angle your suspension was built around. Front toe, camber, caster, all of it. If nobody corrects that afterward, your new tires start wearing wrong from week 1. They cup and feather on the edges before you've even scrubbed the mold release off the tread. Picture a truck that got a 3-inch lift on a Friday, and a fresh set of tires mounted the same day, no alignment anywhere in the plan. By month 2, the outer edges of the front tires are visibly rounding off faster than the center, and the truck has started to drift slightly on the highway. That's not a defective tire. That's a tire doing exactly what an out-of-spec suspension is telling it to do. You spent real money on tires that are eating themselves alive, and the store that sold them can't fix what's causing it, because the equipment simply isn't in that building. Budget for a second stop. A standalone alignment runs $50 to $100 at a shop like Midas or Meineke, and Firestone sells a lifetime alignment package in the low 200s if you know you'll need more than one over the life of the truck. That's a real, unavoidable cost that never once shows up on your tire receipt, because it's simply not their service to sell you. If you want the channel that tells you what these stores can't do, instead of one that just runs the register, subscribe, because that's the whole point of this one. Number 3. The fitment issue you won't catch until you're already parked in your own driveway. A bigger tire on a lifted truck doesn't always clear the way it looks like it will, standing still in the lot. Some general tire counters mount an oversized tire without ever turning the wheel lock to lock or compressing the suspension to check for rub. A shop that handles your exact combination, brand, size, lift height, several times a week catches that before you ever leave the bay. A counter that sees it once a month, if that, might not think to check at all. Picture the version of this that actually happens to people. Someone lifts their truck 3 inches, goes with a 35 instead of playing it safe with a 33, and drives off without anyone turning the wheel to full lock first. 2 weeks later, on the first real trail run, the tire kisses the inner fender liner every time the suspension compresses over a rock, and now there's a repair bill on top of the tire bill. So do it yourself before you drive off. Full lock, both directions, listen for contact, then push down hard on the fender to mimic what happens when you hit a dip on the trail. Hear a scrape, and you've found a problem in the parking lot, where it costs nothing but 2 minutes. Find that same scrape on the trail instead, and it costs you a tow and possibly a torn fender liner. Number 4. This is where actual expertise beats a friendly smile, and it's the one most people never think to ask about. Every tire has a load range stamped right on the sidewall. It's a letter code, and it tells you exactly how much weight the tire is rated to carry at a given pressure. A truck carrying a heavy steel bumper, a winch, or towing regularly needs more capacity than the tire that came stock from the factory. Here's why that's easy to miss. Walmart calls its technicians certified, and technically they are. But that certification usually means an in-house computer course followed by hands-on floor training, not the ASE program most dedicated tire and alignment shops require their techs to hold. One former employee describing the process on a job review site put it simply: computer-based learning, then hands-on training, certified through Walmart, not through ASE. That's not a knock on the person doing the work. It just means the guy trained to move volume on minivan and sedan tires isn't necessarily thinking about your bumper weight while he's ringing up your total. Get the load range wrong, and the tire flexes under weight it was never built to handle. That means it wears out faster, runs hotter, and can fail without the kind of warning a properly rated tire gives you. Ask directly what load range you're getting, and whether it actually covers what your truck is carrying, bumper, winch, and all. A hesitant answer, or a shrug, is your answer. Number 5. The return policy that's friendly right up until it isn't. On paper, you get 90 days to return a new, unmounted tire, no questions asked. The instant that tire is mounted, the window drops hard. It's roughly 48 hours at most locations, and plenty of stores won't take a used tire back at all once it's actually seen the road. That's close to standard across the entire tire industry, not something unique to Walmart. But it stings more here, because off-road tires cost more per tire, and the gap between the tire you researched at home and the one your store actually had in stock that day is exactly what leaves people stuck with something they never really wanted. To be fair, Walmart does throw you a bone elsewhere. Walmart Plus members get free flat repair and a free road hazard warranty when they buy new tires with installation, and that's a real perk, not a gimmick. It just doesn't help you if the tire itself was never the right one for your truck to begin with. Get the mounted versus unmounted specifics in writing before you drive off the lot. An unwritten policy is one that can quietly change the day you actually need it to work in your favor. We're halfway through, and if you're still here, you're clearly someone who reads past the sticker price, which is exactly why the next part matters most. Number 6, the move that actually flips this whole video in your favor. Think back to tip 2. Walmart can't align. Full stop. A specialty off-road shop can mount, balance, and align in a single visit. One appointment, one bill. Skip that shop for the lower sticker price, and you're paying for a second appointment somewhere else just to finish the job Walmart started, on a second day, with a second round of labor. Here's how the math actually plays out. Say the specialty shop runs $50 more per set than Walmart's tire price. That sounds like the worst deal, until you add Walmart's alignment gap back in. A standalone alignment elsewhere runs you another $50 to $100, plus a second afternoon off work to sit in a different waiting room. Once you count that second trip, the $50 gap at the specialty shop disappears, and depending on the alignment quote, you can come out ahead. Before you commit to either path, get the specialty shop's full price with alignment baked in, written down. Then stack Walmart's tire price against that same total plus a separate alignment quote from somewhere like Firestone or Midas. Run the same math on a bigger set and the gap gets even more obvious. A 4-tire set at $800 from Walmart, plus a $70 alignment stop somewhere else, plus the gas and the hour of your afternoon it takes to get there, lands close to what a specialty shop would have charged for the exact same tires with alignment already built into one visit. Same total, fewer trips, one appointment instead of 2. This is the whole reason to sit through this video. Not a coupon, not a promo code, just the real total, up front, instead of finding it out one bill at a time, weeks apart. Number 7. An in-stock label online is a suggestion, not a guarantee. We already touched on this with the 10,000 tire network number, but it's worth its own point because of how often it actually trips people up. Off-road sizes crawl through that supply chain slower than standard passenger sizes. A popular all-season size might restock weekly. A less common 37 might restock once a month, if the distribution center even has extra sitting around. That means available online can mean available somewhere in the network, not sitting in front of you right now. If your plans have a date attached, a trip, a build deadline, a weekend you already took off work for, call and get a real person to confirm your size is physically there before you build your schedule around it. That one call is the difference between staying on track and losing a week you didn't budget for. Number 8. And past this point, it stops being about money entirely. A tire that's slightly off for your truck, no alignment, no fitment check, wrong load range, doesn't fail in the driveway where it's cheap and easy to fix. It fails 20 miles down a dirt road, 2 hours from the nearest town, or on the highway, hauling a loaded trailer, right when you have zero time to deal with it and nobody around to help. Think about what that actually looks like. A sidewall bulging from a load it was never rated for, right as you hit a washboard section you've driven a dozen times before. A tire cupping unevenly from a lift nobody realigned, losing grip exactly when the trail gets technical. Neither one announces itself in advance. A tow from out there can run into the hundreds of dollars before the actual repair even starts, and that's assuming a truck can reach you at all on a road built for four-wheel drive. A canceled trip after weeks of planning, gear packed, days off requested, costs more than that in ways a receipt never captures. None of it shows up on a test drive around the block. It shows up later, somewhere hard to reach and harder to afford, often with people in the truck who are trusting you to have gotten this right before you ever left the driveway. That's the real weight sitting under an $800 tire purchase that looks simple from the checkout line. So where does that leave you? The guy who still needs tires and has a Walmart 5 minutes closer than anywhere else. It leaves you shopping smarter instead of shopping out of habit. Confirm your exact size is actually on the shelf before you drive over, not just listed online. Price a specialty shop's alignment included total, then compare it honestly to Walmart's tire price plus a separate alignment stop, not just tire price against tire price. Run the lot-to-lot fitment check yourself before you leave the lot. Ask the load range question out loud, and watch how fast the answer comes back. Get the return window, mounted versus unmounted, in writing before you pay. This isn't a case for never shopping at Walmart again. Their tire selection is real. Their installation pricing is fair, especially with the lifetime balance and rotation built into the mount price. And for a daily driver that never sees dirt, almost none of this matters. This is a case for a lifted truck specifically, and for stopping the habit of comparing a price tag to a price tag when one of those two paths is quietly missing an entire service the other one includes. That missing piece, the alignment, is exactly the one your build can't drive without for long. Do that math once, before you buy, and you won't have to think about it again for years. Skip it, and you might end up thinking about it every time you check your tires for wear. Tell me the real numbers in the comments. What did a specialty shop quote you with alignment included, versus what Walmart's tire plus a separate alignment visit actually added up to once you counted everything? Drop both figures, because that comparison helps the next guy more than anything a store's own website will ever tell him. And here's the one I actually want an argument about. For a lifted truck running real off-road rubber, is there any reason left to buy from a big general store instead of a shop built for exactly this job? Or has the 5 minutes closer excuse finally stopped paying for itself once you factor in the alignment nobody's offering you? Argue it out down there. I'm reading all of it.